It's this little guy's party today, or at least it was his party on January 7th. I don't know when you're watching this, but on January 7th, it is Distaff Day, the day after, you know, the period of time around Christmas when you're no longer allowed to spin. And then on Distaff Day, you can load your distaffs again. What are we going to do for Distaff Day? We are going to gift fluff to other spinners to celebrate the beauty of our craft. This, by the way, is a ring distaff. If you don't know, you put it on your finger and then you can spin. Together with a couple of my patrons, we have organized a Saint Distaff's Day exchange, which means that everyone somewhere in the world has a secret Saint Distaff that they have to give a present to, and they have another secret Saint Distaff that they will receive a present from. The present consists of at least 50 grams of fluff, and for the rest there are no rules. Let's make the present for my secret Saint Distaff. My secret Saint Distaff lives across the Atlantic. Yes, I finally get the chance to send some of our local goodies across that pond. And I think we're going to start with the hype of all hypes, Zwartbles. Let's make a bat, and then I think I'll also make a bat of blue tassel, because those are my two absolute favorites ever, and maybe also just to balance out all the natural colored fluff, also make something that is incredibly colorful, and then Belgian milk sheep / Flemish sheep. Sound like a plan? I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, I might have loaded this drum card a little bit too heavy. Ah! Come on. Oh, don't take my braid. It is mostly inevitable when I spin or knit that my hair gets like twisted in there, but not putting it in a drumcarder is also a way to avoid that. While it would also be pretty cool to send and receive unprocessed pieces of fleece so that the receivers can actually experience the processing of said fleece, international shipping does not allow for that. If I want to send wool across the pond, it better be scoured, cleaned of VM and carded, which is completely understandable because we don't want stray seeds to actually become invasive species somewhere that it doesn't belong. And sheep like to roll around in plants that bear seeds like that. A first bat for our secret Saint Distaff. I have passed it through the carder 3 or 4 times. I kind of lost counting, just to make sure that there is no more VM in it. I also picked out everything I saw by hand, and it looks pretty clean, doesn't it? Also, just because it is Zwartbles, the squish. I hope it will be appreciated by my secret Saint Distaff. I don't know if they like medium European wools, but that's what they're going to get. And since we're going to work with a new fiber now, let's completely clean the drumcarder first. I don't know about you, but I never get to see my drumcarder as clean as you see it on like those pretty reels and everything, where they just pull the bat straight off and everything is nice and back to its original state. This never happens. Never. Now for the blue tassel, I'm actually going to be a tiny bit lazy and repurpose one of the bats that I made for Tour de Fleece. Never got around to spinning it. It has gotten a little bit compacted from being in storage, so I'm going to just run it through the drumcarder like a couple of times again, and then it will be nice and fluffy again. Probably to get compacted yet again in postage, but you know, also just try to get all the VM that might still be in here out of it. I like big bats and I cannot lie, all you other spinners can't deny. Now, and since my plan for the third bat is actually to make a chaotic mixture of stuff, I'm actually not even going to bother cleaning it after the blue tassel. That's how rebellious I am. Let's go for some color. And these two are actually quite a bit smaller, but I really went to town with adding all the fun stuff in there. Like it is, as I said, Flemish sheep, Belgian milk sheep, a little bit of blue tassel, but also merino in blue and magenta, and also some yellow sari silk. These look just so fun. I think the resulting yarn would be very pretty and chaotic and colorful. Wrapped it in plastic, nice and tight, so hopefully nothing gets to it during shipping. Going to add a little card. And let's ship this to the other side of the world, and then let's play the waiting game until my secret Saint Distaff Day gift arrives. Friends, in an ideal world, I would now follow up with showing you what was in my package. Do a little unboxing, showing you all the pretty fluff, load up my distaff and spin a bit. Just, you know, general shenanigans. My package is still waiting to be cleared by customs. When you are seeing this, it is already 2 weeks waiting to be cleared by customs. I interpret it as being on the waiting list, like in the queue, before it actually gets to a person in customs to look at the box and say, yes, this is fine, this may enter Belgium. This is of course no fault whatsoever of my secret Saint Distaff, because they sent a package to me very early in December. It should be here now, but probably the holidays and such made it so that it took a little longer to get to Belgium, and now it's taking a little longer to pass customs. But no package does not mean no shenanigans. To fill up the void that is my package, I have for you a silly video that was originally published as a Patreon exclusive, but since I have no fluff to do distaff shenanigans with, here is some earlier distaff shenanigans. The very first distaff shenanigans, to be precise. Fair warning, because it was a Patreon video first, it is not as polished nor as censored as a regular for YouTube video might be, but I'm just going to show it in its entirety. I hope you enjoy. Ka-ching! My dear friends, I have a distaff, a ring distaff added. I have never ever spun with a distaff before, but I'm curious to try it and see whether or not this makes spinning on my clasp in hand French spindles a lot easier than it was before. So let's dress our little distaff and start spinning. So the only knowledge I have about dressing a distaff is from a random WikiHow page that I just read 5 minutes ago. Anyway, this is the fiber we shall be dressing. I have absolutely no idea what sheep this is, because this was the fiber that actually came as the packaging material for one of my spindles. If you have ever ordered by at Regenbogenwolle, you know that these boxes that she uses to hold her spindles, to send her spindles in, are filled with fiber. This is absolutely the best way to send stuff to spinners, I think. Anyway, I made, of course, because I am extra, a little braid to tie up the fiber. Now we're going to try and make some, yeah, stuff like this, about a little bit longer than this part of this stuff. Probably just the staple length of this wool anyway. Okay, let's just start with that, I guess. You know, do not put too much hay on our forks or, well, on our distaffs. Put the braid on top of the distaff, and then we're just going to roll the fiber. You get to be up there. My braid was a little bit too long. Anyway, here is our dress distaff, sorta. Yeah, I mean, let's go. I might have forgotten this isn't the easiest spindle to just randomly start spinning without a leader with. But we're going to try. Ta-da. I cheated. I just spun it a little bit, supported on the table to get it started. But hey, that's not what this video is about, is it? I'm so scared. Gee, doing new stuff is scary. I also don't particularly like dropping these spindles because they're rather, you know, antique. Is this working? Good question, because I don't know. I mean, I'm having a comfortable way of holding my fiber, yes, but I'm actually still drafting by pushing it downwards or like pulling the yarn downwards. It's probably not what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I should be like drafting with this hand, but summer reflexes. Anyway, I never draft with my left hand. I always like pull the fiber with my spinning hand, my right hand. My braid is also getting in the way over here. Silly, silly, silly braid. I feel like the reason that I'm doing everything in the spinning, well, yeah, in the spinning with one hand, so both the flicking of the spindle and then like trying to draft, is why my spindle spinning style looks so much like a park and draft, because I can't do it at the same time with actually just one hand, because everything my left hand does is just, I don't know, hold the fiber. I see so many beautiful videos of people like actually like doing stuff like that. I don't know what they're actually doing with their fingers, but like drafting, I can't. I actually just can't. My fingers will not do the motion. Sometimes makes me feel like really sad, borderline. Well, in Dutch we would say depri, which is not as bad as depressed. It's just like a shorter word for depressed. But not really depressed, but it feels like a lump in my throat. Like, why am I even spinning on the internet? I'm not a good spinner. I can't even draft with my left hand. My left hand is absolutely useless. So sometimes my brain then thinks that I'm absolutely useless, which is a stupid thought to think, of course. But I don't always have, control over what my brain wants to think. And I shouldn't be thinking that, because if I get the desired yarn from my stupid way of spinning, then it is not a stupid way of spinning, because that's the whole point, getting the yarn you desire, right? The color of this wool is super, super pretty. No clue what it is. It looks like it's natural coloring of a sheep. Could it be blue tassel? Maybe. Maybe. Keep doing it like this. It's also not going to solve any of my muscle problems that I had before, right? At least I have a little bit more control of how far my twist ends up in my fiber supply. Well, I don't want it to end up in my fiber supply, but it does like every 10 minutes or something, so I've got a little bit more control over it now. Should stop the camera because I'm getting self-deprecating and you don't want to see that. I don't know. Let's get back when I'm feeling a little bit better and I have spun a bit more. So as it is not raining for a day, for literally one day, because do not be mistaken, it will rain tomorrow, I thought let's continue our conversation outside. So I emptied my little ring distaff. Everything is neatly on my spindle and I'm going to just ply it on my support spindle because I just don't feel like plying on my French spindles right now. That's a valid feeling. I'll wind this in a plying gauntlet probably, and I'll talk to you about my feelings about this ring distaff, which are also valid. All feelings are valid. Can't sit crisscross applesauce really good. Where is the end? So, the ring distaff. While I still cannot draft with my left hand for not even a millimeter a second, nothing, I still think that the ring distaff was a useful tool, as in it kept my fiber stash, my fluff stash, quite neat and easy to draft from when I'm just holding it in my hand. Sometimes, especially when the twist runs up in there, when I'm not giving the right amount of flick on my spindle, it ends up in the end just becoming a knotted up bunch of fluff. And while it was still on the distaff, it was very orderly, always neatly in the same direction. I think that is a big plus in using a distaff over just going with my hand or shoving it up my sleeve. And while I was still making the weird movements with my shoulders and my elbow, actually this time it was my right arm that took the most strain and not my left, which is, well, still painful. But my right arm is used to taking more strain. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because all my fiber was still like neatly lined up, I feel like my yarn is more consistent. And there was always a equal amount of fiber coming down when I was drafting or well pulling it down while spinning. I think I found my shrew's nest. It's over there. I hear him. It's the same kind of peep, peep, peep. You're welcome in this garden, shrew. Eat all the insects, please. Also apologies for the probably pretty frustrating self-deprecating part in the middle of this video, or I don't know, maybe a couple of minutes ago. I'm just really bad at not being immediately good at something. It is probably the curse of being a gifted kid. But it frustrates me to no end when something doesn't and immediately go as my brain thinks it should go, because, well, it has always just went that way. I don't need much practice or explanations for things. I just know how to do things. So like for sewing, I didn't take classes. I just got my first sewing machine from my aunt, and she gave me like half an hour of explanations of how do you work with this thing, and then I could sew. Like literally I made a winter coat a year later. My brain is so good at learning new stuff that it's frustrating when it doesn't. This is probably not just for gifted kid syndrome, but maybe some of you will also recognize these comments. Like, I get told sometimes that I think too fast. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? Maybe the rest of the world is just too slow. Here is our little grey skein spun on my French spindles and a distaff. Soft and squish as we like it. Yeah, well, you saw it, my friends. I tested out this ring distaff. Good. I will probably use it more often in the future, even though, as I've said before, my solar panels weren't in on the discussion. Anyway, even though, as I have said, my left hand is completely useless for drafting, but I like the structured, safe fiber supply and the continuous fiber that I could draft then with my right hand. So, as this June, which means Euro 2014, I'm just going to load up my ring distaff again and, well, enjoy myself while my husband watches football. And I'll see you next month. Bye! I hope you enjoyed that. Now, when my package finally arrives in my hands, I have the tracking number, so I'm looking over that like a hawk. And when I see that it's dispatched and that my mailman has it, I'm just going to be like this at the window and then probably attack him once he's close to my front door. Yep, that's what's going to happen. And then I will film it and show it to you guys as well. Possibly in like a second video of the week on Sunday or something. Just like an extra video, because I don't know, it might not fit in my schedule. We'll see how that goes, but you will get to see it anyway. And, well, if you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment, or subscribe. But of course, that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. But before we do that, here is some more spinning shenanigans. Bye.